A top story at this hour, massive protests continue to take place in Sri Lanka amid political economic crisis. Opposition party leaders of Sri Lanka have agreed to form an all-party interim government. This comes after the opposition parties held a key meeting to discuss the crisis in the island country. Remember, President Gotabaya has offered to tender his resignation on the 13th of July, whereas the Prime Minister has offered a conditional resignation. However, the Sri Lanka Administrative Service Association have written to the Speaker with 12 proposals to be compulsorily executed in order to make the proposed interim governing successful. The letter also mentioned the interim government to be formed must include at most 15 cabinet ministers. Meanwhile, angry protesters refused to budge, carry on to occupy the presidential palace in Colombo. Protesters were seen roaming through the palace, cooking food in the kitchen, using president's pool and gym equipment. Also, 3 suspects have been arrested over the incident of setting a fire to the Prime Minister's house.
After overrunning the seat of power of the ruling Rajapaksa clan, protesters braved brutal crackdown from forces. Images show Sri Lankan security forces shooting moments before protesters entered the president's house. The unarmed protesters also braved wrath of lathi-wielding security forces on Saturday. After successfully storming the palatial building, Lankan protesters are now digging in heels.
Roddy Rollins now, sling blade!
Wrestling on the sprawling luxury beds of the President and Prime Minister.
Over the top rope, they got something big up his sleeve.
Using their gyms, pools, kitchen and piano. Helping themselves to food cooked in the presidential kitchen. Soaking in the luxuries of the presidential palace. In awe of the wealth and opulence, but angry over their own sorry state and crisis facing the nation.
Sri Lanka has woken up to difficult times, and that's what you can see evidently over here, as so many youths have gathered outside a government building, and they have been over here for a very long time. In fact, they have also gathered food at this location, and they claim that this is one of the official residence of President Gotabaya, and they have come over here demanding justice.
The protesters claim they have recovered millions of rupees from the president's house, stashed away as the president fled just minutes before the presidential house was stormed. The protesters held a mock IMF discussion at the president's house. Played carom inside the opulent halls. Playing the president's popular campaign song, The Hero That Works, in an ironic send-off to the president. The political turmoil meanwhile continues. A series of ministers have resigned, showing solidarity with the Lankan people. The opposition parties are holding consultations and hoping to install a new unified government.
The Lankan opposition parties are now chalking out the future course. Once the Rajapaksas relinquish power, the challenge before any unity government will be to address the huge financial crisis that the island nation faces. That will be a Herculean task.
To heal the festering wounds on the island nation's soul, both the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe have agreed to step down. As anger explodes on Lanka's streets, India has adopted a cautious stance. choosing the wait-and-watch policy. With Chanuka Pereira, Pramod Madhav and Ashutosh Mishra in Colombo, Bureau Report, India Today.